Dr. Chris Kissling from Hansel Hagley.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'll try to be brief and give you an opportunity to ask questions. We're here, I've got Niall Drain with me as well. We're here really looking at your item 23, which is dealing with the responsibilities of your committees. We made representations on Tuesday the 11th of March 2014 to the Community Committee, and we now see in the agenda item today that a number of the points that we raised, and one in particular, seems not to have been taken into account. Our concern is that matters relating to Hagley Park are still going to be considered by more than one council committee. We think there's a need for much better coordination of Hagley Park matters, and if it can come to one committee, that is best. It seems that also that to us that the recreation side of things is having greater sway than consideration of the environmental and protection matters for Hagley Park. We made at that 11th of March deputation a number of bullet points. We would like the council to actually have a look at those again. In the interest of shortness of time here, I'm not going to read them all out to you. I would emphasise also, though, that we are not aware of any similar major reserve anywhere else in New Zealand or the world, for that matter, that regularly allows vehicles to be parked on the grassed areas of the playing fields or under the drip lines and over the root zones of mature trees. This council and its committee asked the staff to do some work on parking. We haven't seen that result. We ask also that the progress in that area might be relayed to us so we have some idea of what you are doing. Niall can answer more questions on, if you wish, on the side of managing an iconic treasure like Hagley Park with his background and experience. If you want more questions on management of the parking and still abuse of parking, we believe, for events in Hagley Park, there is more photographic evidence beyond what we have given you so far. Thank you.
Thank you. Have you not, I recall you came to a committee and asked about information on parking on Hagley Park and the policies around that, particularly for events. You haven't seen any work on that at all yet? Okay, thank you.
We've not had the feedback that we might have expected.
Right. Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from anyone? Pauline?
Thank you. Just about, hi. When you're saying that the parking damages the root stock of the trees, what about when the parking's kind of out in the middle? What damage is that? Parking out on the grass areas.
I invite you to go and walk out in North Hagley Park now and look at the end result of what's happened for the events that have been held there in the last few months. With the wet season that we've had, it is not good.
Okay, and do you have any comments perhaps about often there's heavy trucks and things that are involved in setting up and breaking down shows? Do they have any impact as well? Your view?
It is inevitable that you're going to have heavy vehicles involved in that sort of activity to bring in the paraphernalia associated with putting up tents and structures and things. The idea in any management plan would be to try and minimise that and get those vehicles in and out and off-site and not park them there.
I just note this year that there was a lot of rain around the period of Ellerslie, and I think there was quite a lot of...
Well, if we take a leaf out of the Environment Court judge's decision for Hagley Oval, and the use of any of the park for parking in association with that, she was saying that if for any reason, and weather events can be some of those, that they couldn't use the park. The park really came first, and you had to find parking elsewhere. And it was over to Cricket to find 3,000 car parking spaces elsewhere every season.
Thank you.
In terms of your, sorry, Yanni.
Thank you. Just wondering if you've had a response to your 28th of April concern over the compliance with the consent?
Yes, we've had a response from the council, acknowledgement that non-compliance had occurred, and that the perpetrators have been spoken to.
So in your mind, is that satisfactory? I mean, it just seems like you can just keep breaching your consent without any consequence.
Well, the point here is that the City Council has the responsibility for monitoring those consents and ensuring compliance. Some of our members have been watching closely, and breaches have occurred, minor breaches and substantial breaches. In fact, one of them is a known person to the workers around there now, as she goes and takes more information.
So do you think we need to be passing some resolutions today to actually ask staff to be monitoring the consent conditions more proactively and actually taking more enforcement?
If you were managing this proactively as a councillor, I would say you'll be asking your staff for more regular reports on the actual monitoring regime and what they have done.
Yeah.
It seems that monitoring is by exception, and someone has to complain for monitoring to take place, and we don't believe that is the right way to go about it.
Thank you.
I'm actually going to ask Jane to come back via the CEO's report on the issue about parking on Hagley Park that you raised some time ago in a community committee, I think it was.
My last question to you really would be, since you haven't put Hagley Park matters into one committee in its terms of reference, can you release the reasons why you didn't?
Yeah, and when we did the terms of reference, there was debate about having sports and rec along with parks and heritage into the community committee, but the environment committee felt it was important to retain it. So I think we got to a bit of a stalemate there where we agreed. But I think we certainly, it's timely that we're actually reviewing some aspects of our committees at the moment, and we'll certainly take it into account to get a very clear focus on Hagley Park. I think would be something everyone would agree to.
If you have some other means of coordination between your committees to make sure these things are looked at properly, we would be more comfortable. But history so far has been that has not been done to our sort of satisfaction historically. You might be doing it now. Thank you if you are.
Yeah.
Thank you.